Stunthangar Video Hangouts. My name is Charles Carter, and I'll be your host this evening. I hope want to extend to you my gratitude for you watching Stunthangar Video Hangouts. If you're watching this as a replay, I want you to know that I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. So please make a note of this so you can watch and be part of the live stream. Plus, we have an after party following the live stream, which is sometimes better than the live stream portion. You must be a registered Stunthangar Forum member to find the link to be part of the live stream and the following after party. Here at Stunthangar Video Hangouts, we talk about building and flying model airplanes, sport flying, competition flying, and what you've been doing lately. To join our conversation, if you are already a member of Stunthangar Forum, you can find the link if you scroll down to the section called At the Bench, which is right below in memory of our friends. Now, if you're not a member or if you're not logged into Stunthangar Forum, the At the Bench link will not appear. If you're not a member, please register at stunthangar.com/SMF. That's stunthangar.com/SMF. That's Smart Men Flying. That's courtesy of Jeff Riley. You must place a space between your real first and last name when you register. You must also use a valid email address, or Sparky, the proprietor of Stunthangar, will not approve you. Now, if you're inclined to not come in and you enjoy watching us on YouTube, wonderful, fantastic. Please enter your questions or comments in the chat box right over here. I'll do my best to make your comments or questions a part of the show, and understand sometimes I can't get a word in myself, so be patient. And I will ask our illustrious panel your question or state your comments. And by the way, you only can do this during a live stream. So like I said earlier, I host these YouTube live streams every Monday and Friday evening starting at 6:45 p.m. Pacific Standard Time. If you find the Stunthangar Video Hangouts that I host, or the many building videos, contest coverage videos that Sparky does on this platform, informative and enjoyable, please hit the thumbs up, thumbs up, thumbs up. Please subscribe, share, and comment on the videos. Helps the Stunthangar YouTube channel membership grow and helps the channel grow. Please consider joining Stunthangar YouTube channel memberships, which start at just $4.99 a month, which is less than 17 cents a day. And by the way, I'm a member myself. I have the $4.99 come out of my own checking account each and every month. That's been like 3 years, 11 months running now that we're in May. And so if you don't want to do the membership, you can do the super chat, which is right below the chat box if you're doing the live show. Now, if you're not watching this live, then hit the three dots below the video and a menu will pop up and select super thanks. And then you can be directed to how to donate there. Now, this is Sparky's YouTube channel. And if you want to get in touch with me, the best way to do that is to go to my YouTube channel, which is called Flying Control Line Stunt. That's Flying Control Line Stunt. And if you would, please locate the 2019 AMA National Championship video, which is a video that Sparky shot with his video camera, me flying his Junar XL. And if you do that, if you comment there, I'll receive a notification on my phone and be able to respond to you quickly. Oh, by the way, when you are a member, when you join our membership for $4.99 a month, that's the low tier. There's two of the tiers above that. You have access to the member-only videos. Not all the videos that we do are for public. Some are private. Some are earmarked for just members only. So you'll be able to see those exclusive membership videos if you join. Anyways, I want to thank you for your past, your present, and future support. You are making it happen. Please keep the conversations family room friendly. In other words, please don't use words or do things you wouldn't say or do around your own children or grandchildren. And I already posted the link, so hopefully we'll get some people to come in. That'd be great. Let me fix some things while I'm waiting. Need to make my way over to the control panel, and I'm doing that right now. Let's see here. Yeah. Boy, hopefully you had a chance to do some flying this weekend or work in your shop, and you can share it with us. Let us know what's going on. And if you have any questions about it, I know between our gallery, we should be able to find a solution for you. or at least something that works for other people. Let me see here. All right, looks like we have 8 concurrent viewers and 3 likes. So if you haven't hit the like button yet, please smash that. And it doesn't cost you a thing to like us. You can even unlike us. That just shows engagement. And we have 4 likes, so hopefully, if you haven't hit the like button, please hit that now. And Gary Sinclair, he is in the chat box. He's our first member of our YouTube channel in the chat box. He said like provided. And Gary's also a monitor. I can see the blue wrench, and Gary's here with us right now. Hey, Gary, how you doing?
Pretty good.
All right,
You doing
fantastic.
you doing good too?
Yeah, I am. I'm a little nasally again because I
Oh,
went swimming before I came in here.
I see. Where do you go
Uh,
swimming? Why?
it's 24-hour fitness,
Oh,
and but since the pandemic, they're not open 24 hours. They still got the name, but they're not open 24 hours. And yeah, I swim about 25 laps. So, Edward Carlisle said, like sent. Thank you, Edward. So yeah, I try to do that about
you-
at least 3 times a week. So I
you're good.
fly and I do this and I
Fine.
do swimming.
You're good and fit then.
Yeah, pretty good shape. Yeah, pretty good shape for
You-
for my age. I'm pretty good, and I think it helps with the flying because it's a lot. Even just going there, unloading your stuff, hauling your stuff to the flying circle. I mean, there's a lot of stuff you got to take
Oh
out to
yeah.
the field. Your flight box and other stuff. Sometimes you have to take a tent, or canopy.
Yeah.
And I take another box beside my flight box, which carries the cones and my measuring device that I have it measures over 100 feet. So I use that to mark off the radius of the circle, and I use the cones, and I have like a dog stake that's in the center, and that allows it moves, so I can actually go around the whole
Oh,
circle and
that's
make the
yeah.
cones actually in a nice round manner, and it works. There's a lot to do. Hey, Lynn,
Yeah.
how you doing, Lynn?
Charles, how's it going? Gary,
Hi then.
good to see you guys.
Yeah.
Going good.
What's up?
Well, I was just curious, what's up with you being on the Canadian team? You must be busier than a one-legged
Oh yeah.
contestant in a
Huh.
butt kicking contest.
Oh yeah. I'm go 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 all day long.
Well,
Went
thank you for coming
flying.
in.
We went flying today.
All right.
Got some flights, and Naomi got some flights, and Brad and Tom and Stuart were there, so we had a good flying session today.
Oh, that is great.
Yeah, it was a good day.
Yes. Any
A
video?
little brief. I'm sorry.
Any video? You guys take any video?
No video. No video. It was a little breezy, but it wasn't too bad. It was definitely flyable. So
Mhm.
yeah, we had a
Good.
good time.
And you're still trying to figure out which plane you're going to commit to, right? You're still trying to figure that out.
Well, I'm still building the one that I'm hoping to take.
Okay.
Like I'm in the process of I got 3 coats of clear dope on it now, so tomorrow I'll do the silk span. Tomorrow and the next day. Probably take me 2 days to get all the silk span on. Might get it all in one day, but it usually takes me a little more than a full day to get it done.
Right. Right. Oh, that's good. And then when
So
you're
once I
working
get
on,
the silk, go ahead.
I'm sorry, the plane you're working on again, is this the Cardinal like airplane or is it something else?
Yeah, that's the one. Yeah, that
Okay.
one there. Yeah.
You still working on the
It's come.
job?
I'm sorry.
You still working at a job too?
Just part-time.
Oh,
Only a
okay.
couple of days a week. That's all. So
Well, that gives you more
that's not
time,
too
but
big a that's not a very big factor, that part.
okay.
Now,
But
do you use all butyrate or do you use some nitrate when you're building your
all butyrate. All butyrate. I've never used nitrate dope in my life.
neither have
I use
I.
butyrate. Yeah, I use butyrate for everything. Um, what I generally do is I pretty much the same as the Sparky method at this point. I do 3 coats of clear, then I silk span the whole airplane, then 3 more coats over that, and then a couple of filler coats and mix white in with it and take it from there. Then tons and tons of sanding and maybe another coat or two in places if I need it. And Sand, sand, sand. I was on a Zoom meeting last night and I was saying in 2 weeks from now, if my fingers aren't raw and almost bleeding, I'm not close enough to my sandpaper.
Yes. Yeah, very good. That's awesome.
So,
Hey, John Miller came in. Hey, John, thanks for coming
hey,
in.
John.
Just fixing my do.
Yeah,
I
very
Don't worry, there's
good.
envy
no
I
girls on
envy
here right now.
Len
You're
in
okay.
many ways. Ah,
Yeah, well, it looks like you and Gary are the ones who have the most hair.
yeah, come think of it. Yeah. Hey, Gary,
Hi.
Mr. Hairy Man. So,
You
Len,
guys are
yeah,
the
it's
hairy
true.
guys.
If your fingers aren't worn down like that,
You're not sanding enough.
you're not sanding enough.
That's right. So
Oh
yeah.
my God, that's too funny,
Well, I
John.
mean, I know they don't judge for appearance at the Worlds, but I am going to the Nats as well, so I want the airplane to look nice.
What
So,
Yeah.
airplane is that? I missed out on what it is, which one
so
it is.
it's sort of halfway between a Cardinal and a Novanta. Two Windies designs kind of mixed together.
Oh, sounds interesting.
So that's what I'm
Sounds
working on.
good.
It's like I said to Charles, I've got all the clear. I've got 3 coats of clear on the frame now. So tomorrow I'll start the silk span.
You found silk span?
Yeah, tomorrow I'll start the silk span.
Oh, I wish I could find silk span. I can't
Well,
find
I've
it.
got one of the guys up here who passed away a few years ago. He had lots of silk span, and I managed to get it. So I have
Ah,
silk span.
I've got doctor paper, but that's a whole different animal. You know,
Okay.
it works, but I went and got a bunch of that mylar foam. Not mylar foam, the film.
Yeah, the
The
film. Yeah, Mylar film. I've heard that works good.
Yeah, and I'm trying to decide whether to put it over doctor paper or polished band, or just put it on by itself, scratch it up and paint it.
From what I've heard, just put it on by itself and paint it. Scratch it up and paint it. That's what I've heard.
And that's what you've heard. Should
That's
be
what I've
light.
heard.
Should be
It should
light.
be light. Yeah, and it's pretty durable too, so you should be okay.
Well,
I mean,
I tried two different places. One outfit, I got one roll for 200-foot roll for about $20, and other place I got 6 20-foot rolls for about $30. Same stuff. So
cool. Are they foot wide rolls or big wide rolls?
they're 18, 20 inches wide.
Oh, beautiful. That's awesome.
Yeah.
I have a roll of the stuff, but it's only about a foot wide, and so it's for some things it's okay, and other things not so good. Not so good for wings.
It makes me wonder how that stuff would go on a fuselage, though, you know.
Yeah, I don't know. I've never tried it. I've only put it on a couple of foam wings, and it worked pretty good.
Did it? Yeah. Well, I'm going to find out, you know, because as soon as I get to it, around to it.
Stuff I've got works pretty good with low temp, so that's a good thing.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm looking at Brodak. They sell silk span. They have both light and medium.
Yeah,
Well,
that's not like the old silk
it's not
span.
like the
It's
old silk.
different.
Oh,
It's
okay.
not a
Not the
bit.
same stuff.
Yeah,
The stuff to
it's
get,
not.
my understanding is that it's out of England, is that from that tea bag company back there.
Okay.
There was a flurry of posts a month or two ago on the forum about it, and there was a place to email to in England, and you could buy quite a bit of it at a reasonable price. It was the shipping that was expensive.
Okay.
So
You know, I
yeah,
was
go
telling
look.
Charles I have a supply, so I got lucky. One of the gentlemen up here that passed away a few years ago had a real pile of it, and I managed to obtain it, so I'm holding on to it for dear life.
Hey,
Yeah.
I had a box, you know, the long box. I had one of
Yeah, I
those that
know the
was
one and
full.
had it all rolled up in the fancy
Yeah,
roll. I know, yeah.
yeah, I had one
That's
of
what
those
I
that was
have.
full. I bought it 20 years ago, and I just
Yeah.
finally used the last one up on my last one of my last airplanes. So
Well,
it went a long way.
I got a box of the heavyweight stuff and I got a box of the medium, so I'm in good shape for
You're
now.
in real good shape. Yeah,
Yeah.
yeah.
It
I don't know where
works so
you
easy.
It does. Where would you use the
It's
heavy?
so
I always use medium.
well. I would probably use the heavy on a wing if it was open bay, like completely open bay. I would use it for that. But for a sport model, probably not. I don't know about for a competition model. I don't know if it would add too much weight or not. I'm not sure. I don't know.
I've always used
Right
medium.
now,
I've always used medium.
yeah, well, that's what I'm going to use too. I normally use medium as well. The heavy works. It's just requires a little more dope to fill it, and I assume it'll probably would be a little heavier.
What I would be tempted to do would be to put the silk span on and then put this mylar on over it, scuff the mylar up and paint it. You won't suck
Right.
up any paint.
Well, that's true too. That would work as well. That's not a bad idea, actually.
Because then if it works as good as some people say it does, look, and I know when you start putting the clear on, you put 3 coats on the frame to make sure then you put 3
Yeah,
coats on the
exactly.
clear, and then you put another 2 or 3 coats on, and then you put the
Oh yeah, by the time you're done, you're like 14 coats of clear.
right, and then you finally get to the
Color coats.
the color coat. Well, before then you got the primer coats.
Yeah,
You
exactly.
sand most of that off, but it's still there. But anyway, so the whole idea of this sounds to me like if it works, putting I was one of the first guys after I learned it from Norm Whittle that put monocoat over silkspan. I did that on my oh come on, it's hell to get old.
Anyway,
60.
I hear you.
Yeah.
My it's a Brodak plane. Alan Brickhouse's design, Legacy. Here we go.
Okay.
I did that on my Legacy, and that even though the wing got filled up with water hanging where it was hanging in my basement, that's still tight.
Wow,
Wow.
that's amazing.
I've never had to reshrink it.
That's
So
amazing.
and what I did is I put silk span on, and then I put transparent yellow on it. It looked like it was dyed yellow silk span. It was neat.
Well,
That's
that's
a pretty
cool.
good trick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it worked real well. So I'd be tempted to do that. I like yellow on an airplane. It contrasts very well with and just about any background, unless you're flying in the fall with a bunch of Quakies turning yellow behind you.
Yeah.
Yeah, I did that on my Nobler. The back of it, the rudder, stabilizer, and elevator. That's all silk span, and then monocoat or ultra coat on top of that.
Yeah, worked
And
good,
it, and
didn't it?
it stays tight.
Transparent?
Stays
Did you
tight.
use transparent,
No,
Charles?
I use regular different colors. My Nova is mostly red,
Okay.
white, black. So I use the red, white, and black on the on top of the silk span.
So here's my question. You put the silk span on first, then you put the monocoat on.
Yeah.
What I
Why
did,
didn't you?
let me explain what I did. I put the silk span on, and then I took some clear dope and I thinned it like 60-40, 60%
Okay.
thinner, 40% one coat, just to kind of tighten it up and just kind of put all the
Okay.
fuzzies down. And then,
Yeah.
then you kind of cleaned it off, tack rag it, get it, and then your monocoat lays down without any little humps or bumps or anything on it. And it's still porous enough that the gas doesn't bubble up from underneath it. It passes on through. And that way you
Okay.
get
That's
a nice
pretty good.
clean job.
Okay. Wow.
Try
What
it
was
So
the
on
what
question?
was the reason for doing the silk span? Is the monocoat not strong enough or what's the
Oh,
silk?
no, I heard that it won't wrinkle up, and it didn't wrinkle up, so it just kept it
on
from wrinkling up. When it gets really hot and you put it out there on the tarmac for hours, sometimes the monocoat will just wrinkle up. It
what the
adheres
other
to
thing
the
is, and
it
the other
adheres to
thing
the silk
is,
span and doesn't do that.
and the other thing is that silk span, it's tight and you hit it wrong or something, you can't split it.
Oh,
But it
for
won't
sure.
do that. It won't do that when you got the monocoat or the film over it. The
Yeah,
film
I'm trying to
stabilizes.
understand though, but I'm trying to understand what is the reason for the silk span? What's wrong with just the monocoat?
The
Monocoat's
monocoat,
pretty tough stuff.
the monocoat gets over the years gets brittle
Okay.
when it's on by itself, and it will loosen up on you, and you have to retighten it all
Like
the time.
Charles said, okay, I got you. Okay, now I'm
And it's
understanding.
stronger. It's stronger. The two together, the two ply, the silk span and the monocoat is
Okay.
stronger than either one of them by itself.
Okay, so it's sort of like the same idea of putting polyspan down first in the open bays and then putting silk span over top of it. I
Right.
get it.
Yeah.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
All right. That's
I
a
mean,
good
welcome.
idea.
Welcome, Mark Gerber. Hey, Mark, how you doing?
Good, Charles. How are you?
Doing good, man. What you been up to?
Oh, a little different project over the weekend here.
You didn't break anything, did you?
No,
Good.
I wouldn't go flying in this kind of weather.
Whoa,
Whoa.
48 miles per hour.
This was our field down in Arvada today, this afternoon. Gusts up to 80 miles an hour.
Wow.
Oh,
Wow.
shoot.
Yeah, you're not going
you
flying.
could be going backwards when you're coming into the wind on that one.
Wow.
This is a picture
Exactly.
that we have a nice setup down there. They have a camera. They have a couple of cameras so you can see the field. This is the west field here. The control line circle is right behind the camera. And you can
It
see the
was.
cloud.
It blew away.
You see the clouds coming over the mountains here, pretty turbulent.
Wow.
Anyway,
Looks like everybody had the right idea and stayed away.
yeah, I don't think anybody was down there flying today. The club is really
Crazy.
nervous about a fire starting too, because that boulder fire that burned hundreds and hundreds of homes a couple of years ago is only about 10 miles north of here.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Yeah.
So the club president keeps putting things in the bulletin every month about what to do in case of a fire. But anyway,
What?
this was a little anecdote here of what we were looking at today. I think the it's got to break here in another week or two because usually by mid-May it's pretty decent, but I'll see. I got to leave for Brodex in less than a month now, so I was doing a different project this weekend. I got a hold of a scientific air coupe.
Right.
Remember that airplane? I had one.
Did you?
Yeah.
Luciano.
Did it fly?
Yeah. About as good as any of those hollow logs did.
All right.
Thank you.
So here's a plan that comes in the kit, and this side view is full size. That's pretty good, but we
Yeah.
don't have enough information here to do a recreation except a crude one. So I took the kit and I spent this weekend drawing up a set of plans.
Wow. Looks nice.
So here's
Oh,
the
yeah.
here's the Gerber plan, which would be a lot better to build from. And you can see the top view. You get much better look at the airplane.
Yeah.
And some of the things about it, it was issued in the 1960s. I don't know exactly what year. Maybe you do, John.
It was the early 1960s.
Yeah.
I noticed you
price-
got, did they actually spell air coupe AIR instead of
Yeah, so-
ER? Huh?
The backstory on this is that the air coupe, I can't remember the name of the company that started it, Urco something, and they built them for, I don't know, 15 years, I think.
Uh-huh.
And then I don't know if they went out of business or what happened, but there's a company in Colorado called Forney. You see, it's spelled up here on the front.
Oh, yeah.
And Forney was a manufacturing company, and the guy that owned Forney was a pretty good entrepreneur. And they made everything from steam locomotives, little ones for mining applications. And they did all kinds of other equipment. They were big in the welding equipment business.
Uh-huh.
They're still in business, and they have a museum in Denver. And they
Huh.
have all these different products that they have made over the years, including the air coupe. And the air coupe, when Forney made it, was spelled with AIR instead of the ER.
Oh, okay.
So, and they made it for 3 or 4 years. They didn't do it for a long time, but they built them right here in Fort Collins.
Interesting.
We have a little strip up in the northwest side of town called Bladder Field, and that's where the factory was. Is right up there.
Uh-huh.
It's a dinky little strip. I don't think it's more than 2,000 feet long, if that long.
You didn't need much with the,
Jack Pitcher and I were up there a few years ago trying to figure out if we could use it for a control line field, but it just isn't wide enough. So anyway, the air coupe AIR was built here in Fort Collins for 3 or 4 years, back around 1960. And then Forney went out of the business and they sold it to somebody else. I don't know who picked it up after that, but they made several hundred of them here in Fort Collins. So
cool. Well, I'll tell you, I got a chance to fly one of those once. It belonged to a friend of mine, and I didn't get to take it off or land it, but I got to fly it around. It's strange. You don't have per se what you'd call rudder pedals. It's all drive it like a car.
yeah, I got a ride in one time too. The local flying club back in Ohio had one, and my cousin was a member, and he took me for a ride one time. It was really strange to see him. I was probably only about 14 at the time, but see him up there steering it, and
Yeah.
no rudder pedals at all.
Huh.
And it flew well.
Now, didn't Wendy Unowski have one too?
What's that?
I thought
Wendy?
Wendy had an air coupe.
He could have, yeah.
Don't know. It's possible. I think he did
remember
fly
him
some.
mentioning it once. Yes.
So anyway,
Hey,
this
Stuart.
is the detailed plans. I'm going to put this on AutoZone in a
Cool.
week or two, and then anybody who wants to download it can get it.
Hey, that'd be good service. Thank you.
I
But
still
the
remember
funny-
that around the engine of that was just a piece of aluminum sheeting.
Yeah. I made some improvements to that. I did a drafting job and laid it out
Oh,
carefully.
look at that.
So this is a lot better than what's in the kit. I don't know how you got the one on the kit under the airplane. If you did, I always left them off.
Yeah.
They were too much for me. I was too young, and it was
Yeah.
a big hassle to try to get them somehow attached. But this is how I put it on my little air champ that I had. It was also a scientific kit, and I used these 256 screws with little blocks and T-nuts
Uh-huh.
to secure it. That worked pretty good. So that's what I put on here too.
Yeah, that would work good.
So I build one of these. That's what I'll do.
It's amazing how little that is when I look at it now.
Yeah. It's got 51 square inches of wingspan. That's why I asked you if it flew or not. I saw that.
Well, they fly like most of the, not all, some of the hollow logs flew pretty good, really, but most of them, the average ones that you flew, you always had it kind of at a positive angle of attack going around. They
Yeah,
climb.
you have to with a flat wing like that.
Right. And they climb and they dive real easy, but you could figure nine it, but you couldn't loop it.
Yeah, I don't think it. And a kit, it says, the color scheme, it says that this shaded area should be blue, green, black, or brown. And I think most of those would be ugly. A light brown might work. Maybe a blue might work.
Bob Hunt calls it bronze.
Yeah. But I think red would be the best. And I colored one up. Here's a red one.
Oh,
Nice.
cool.
So if you want to build it, I'd make it red.
Yeah.
Looks good.
And what drafting system are you using there when you're using a what is it?
This is TurboCAD here.
Yeah, okay.
And then from TurboCAD, I can print out a PDF file. And from the PDF, I can convert it to a JPEG, and I can put it into Photoshop. So this has been Photoshopped now. I
Yeah.
did the fill operation with the red
You know,
and all the
it's
shaded areas in it.
Looks good.
Takes all the 10 minutes to do it, so
Yeah, yeah.
after you
That's
spend
cool.
5 hours learning how to do it.
I'm gonna have to check it out because it's supposedly, from what I've been reading and checking, and a couple things I've done on the draft site, I can do the same thing with draft site. I have done a couple of, I do PDFs all the time, but I use it. I don't like the way draft site does PDF because I can't say I may have 4 drawings. If it's a 4 drawing set for the whole thing, I'll have them all on one sheet on the computer so I could work on one and move things easily from one to another. But when I get to where I want to print them, as a PDF, I want to just take like sheet 1, sheet 2, and I can do that using what's called Qt PDF, which is it's a neat little program you can download, and it creates a PDF off of your DWG file. I don't know if it'll do it off your TurboCAD file, but you got
What
that
I do in a
already.
TurboCAD is I do have all the layers,
Mhm.
and so I delete, I turn off all the layers that I don't want, like all the lettering and the hidden lines and everything. So all these go away.
Yeah,
So then
yeah,
you're left with this
yep.
in the black and white, and then you put it into Photoshop, and it's pretty easy to fill in the color, whatever you want.
That's slick.
And it's
That
easy to
beats the way
change too.
that beats the way I used to have to do it. I'd have to do a drawing, get rid of all the hidden and small lines, just stay with the objects, and then I have to use my color palette off my layers, and so I'd do a real tight. I'd set up a boundary, and I'd do a real tight. Uh, uh, well, what do you call it? Hatch on it with that in that color, and I couldn't. I'd have to mix and match color. It was a mess, but it could be done. But I think it might be easier now. Hadn't thought about taking it into Photoshop. Looks good
Anyway,
though.
I gotta leave here soon. We got the club meeting tomorrow night with the I Built It contest. And you're allowed to bring any airplane you want. You don't have to fly. It's kind of like the exhibition event
Right.
at VSC. So I want to take my T-Bird down. I got it off the wall.
Oh,
Uh-huh.
cool.
I'm going to put a motor back in it. I still have Bob Palmer's signature on the wing.
Well, that looks just
Nice.
like the one I saw Bob Palmer fly back in the 60s.
So I got to get back downstairs and keep working on this because I'm going to get a full day tomorrow and I got to drive down to Denver. So
That looks very nice.
Yeah, it does.
anyway, that's what I was doing this weekend. I didn't get a lot done on the Bearcat. I did do some sorting of some balsa wood to try to get some light stringers sorted out so I can use them to glue the fuselage together.
Very nice. Thank you for coming in. I appreciate that, Mark. Let
Good
me
to
see
see you,
what
Mark.
Stuart's been up to. Stuart, you went flying today, right? With Lynn and
Yeah, it was okay. A little windy, but at times, but yeah, it was nice out. So other than that, not too much.
not too much. Make any progress on your Nobler since
Yeah,
last time?
I put it aside for a day or two.
What happened?
No, I just got a little frustrated, so I'll get back to it tomorrow, I think.
Yeah, I know what that's like. I
Yeah,
was
that was
making solid wingtips on my Nobler, and I kept sanding and sanding and checking, and I don't know what happened. But when I went to do the final glue up, I made it too small. I removed too much wood, and I was so ticked off about that. I had to put the plane away for probably several weeks. Then I just basically just scabbed in an extra piece of wood and to make it long enough, and then it worked out. But I was just, man, I can't believe this happened.
yeah. Oh well. I'll get back at her tomorrow.
Good, good. What did you fly today?
Uh Pathfinder and Twister. So still working on the Twister to get it right, but it's coming.
So did you do full patterns today with the Pathfinder?
No, it was a little windy, and I I chickened out a little bit.
Okay. I understand. We all got to grow a pair.
Yeah. When I was flying the Pathfinder, yeah, it was pretty breezy. Not used to that. So, but that's good. You learn to fly in the wind better if they did a bunch of maneuvers, but so it's a challenge.
It is. It is. Flying in the wind is you got to get used to it, and the only way to get used to it is to expose yourself to it often,
Yeah,
and you got
I gotta
to
do more
just.
of that. So we'll see.
I like what Joe Gilbert does in the wind. How he runs around, runs forward and back.
I heard,
I haven't tried that yet, but I really think I think that's a good idea because you can run toward the plane and soften it when it's coming down at the bottom. Where you're not trying to yank it back off the deck. Because it's pulling so hard. What are you gonna say, Lynn? Go ahead. You muted, Lynn. You have to unmute yourself, Lynn.
No, I was just gonna say that the reality is if you're going to contests, it's gonna be windy. And
Yep.
you might as well get used to it because that's just the way it is. And that's what happened to me. I found very early on is that every time I'd go to a blinking contest, it'd be blowing a hoolie. And it's like, well, now what do I do? Now I'm scared to fly and I don't want to fly. And just finally, I just decided, okay, I'm going to take a couple of beater planes and I'm going to go out and I'm going to learn to fly that stupid pattern in the wind, no matter what it takes. I don't care how windy it is. I'm going out. I'm going to fly patterns with those old beater planes until I get to the point where I can do it with them. And if I can do it with them, I can do it with anything because better planes fly better whether it's windy or not windy. Whereas the
Right,
old beater planes, they don't fly very good on any day. So
right.
there's no real loss if you dork one either. So fly the old crappy ones, fly them in the wind. If you break them, oh well, throw them away, whatever. But get used to doing the maneuvers where you need to do them on windy days because you're gonna have to. If you're at a big contest and you're 5 hours away from home, what are you going to do? Say, well, I'm not going to fly and then drive back home until it's 10 hours of driving for nothing.
And you're kicking yourself in the butt the whole time going home. I mean, I was afraid. I went to a contest. It was the Golden State Sun Championships, and I flew in the intermediate. And I had rented a van that I took my wife and kids. I wanted to be comfortable. Got the hotel, all this money I laid out, and it was 15-mile-an-hour winds with 22 or 24-mile wind gusts. What was I going to do? So I flew in the first round, and when I landed, I was like, "That's it. I ain't flying in the second round. Get it."
Yep.
And then I had people come up to me, go, "You're gonna fly in the second round?" And I go, "In this wind." Now I was leading, and they would say, "Charles, you better fly in the second round because someone could come up and pass you up." So I flew in the second round, and I ended up winning. But that was my real victory. Wasn't so much the trophy as much as it was me flying. I had to really seriously will myself to fly in that wind. I mean, there was these things that are blown over. I can't remember what you call those things. It's like four legs at an angle, and they have like an orange amber flickering thing. They were blowing over.
Oh yeah. It can be pretty nasty. And the thing is that
I see
a
you,
lot
John.
of these contests, they're still gonna go. They're gonna say, "Yep, we're going." It's
Yeah,
not 20 mile an hour, so guess what? We're flying. They're
yeah,
not going to cancel the contest when they got 25 guys standing there.
Yeah.
So
Yeah. They put a
exactly.
lot of time in it.
Yeah.
Uh,
Go
yeah.
ahead, John.
Well, I was going to say, you're both absolutely right. And I know back in the day when I was, in my teenage years and was learning how to fly the pattern and that, we flew every weekend, whether it was wind was blowing or not. If the wind was blowing, we learned to just do what we were really comfortable in doing. And we'd start with that. And once you got to seeing where you had to do that loop with the wind and get your bottom, and you play with that. And once you felt good about it, it wasn't that hard to flip it upside down and come around and try it outside, And
Yeah.
But you just you play with what you know how to do and what you're comfortable with, and then when you feel good, try something a little new until you feel good about it. When I went to the 95 Nats at my only Nats, I went to the 95 Nats at Tri-Cities Nats there in Washington State, Pasco, Washington. The wind was not under 20 miles an hour the entire contest.
Wow.
And
Huh.
and the was it 15 knot or 30 knot, whatever it was, wind sock they had there at that airport was straight out like that almost all the time.
Oh,
And so,
man.
you know, if you couldn't fly in the wind, you weren't going to fly at
Right.
all. But you know, the thing was, there was plenty of people around that would be willing to take you aside and talk to you about how to do some of these things to help you get through it until you know, and it works, it helps. It's always good to practice whenever you can in the wind. Don't go out in a 45, 60, 70 knot wind, but you know, 20, 50 knot wind, we used to call that a stunt wind when I was a kid. That was a little more than enough to blow your exhaust and your turbulence away from you so you didn't fly through turbulence. Because I hate flying through turbulence worse than I do flying in wind. Because that sucker, I'm always 4 feet off the ground or thereabouts, and I hit that thing and I'm afraid I'm going to hit a wingtip on the ground.
Yeah. My Strega, because it's so big, it really made a turbulence when you come back around. I could.
It made two turbulences, one in front and one in back.
Yeah.
Greg is a big airplane with a big, thick wing, man. Oh, man.
Big lumberyard, boy, I tell you, and that sucker, like you say, thick wing. That wing, what was it, 3 inches?
Oh, yeah. I think three and a quarter.
Three inches. Yeah,
3 inches.
inches at least.
And boy, there's a lot of, you know, I mean, what did he power that thing with? A 90?
Yeah,
Was that a 90?
Stalker 81.
Stalker 81. Well, I'll tell you what, you know, he was taming the horsepower with that thick wing. Is what he's
Uh-huh.
doing.
Hmm.
Yeah.
Nice thing about electric power is you don't need to tame it. You can tame the power with your electronic controls.
Yeah.
In fact, yeah,
Ooh.
I got a nice email from Dennis Adamison.
Really?
Yeah, he sent me the files for the two different e-power packages. The one that Brodeck sells, that's usually good for like 28, 25 size electric motors. And another one he says it hasn't been published or whatever, but it's for like 35, 15 and 6 cell packs.
Uh-huh.
And so I haven't had a chance to look at them yet because I just saw it, but I'm gonna notate those on the plans for the electric version of the Trailblazer and show one or both, you know, in views on that thing.
Very good. Yeah,
And
I got it.
I thank Dennis for it.
Thank you, Dennis.
Yes.
I got some pictures from Marcel Legrand. He actually is in here. He says, "Hi, Charles, and everyone at Stunt School. I hope everyone is well." Thank you very much, Marcel Legrand. Appreciate that.
He asked
You
him
know,
how he did at the competition.
is that a competition again? He
No,
was
he went to
last
the
weekend.
competition last weekend. I wonder how he did.
Yeah, you know what? That's a great question. Why don't you tell us how you did, Marcel?
What happened?
Yeah, that's true. What happened?
It was a stunt contest. He sent me some pictures of that. If you want, I'll show them later if you want.
All right. And he sent me some pictures of his airplane, of his twin.
Isn't that looking good?
It is. Looks really good. It's on my phone. I was trying to figure out how I can get it in the Zoom meeting.
I've got it. He sent it to me. If you want, I'll dig it out and
Yeah.
I'll be back.
All right. So we have 17 concurrent viewers. And we have 15 likes. Thank you very much. Appreciate that. If you have any questions about flying or building, put them in the chat box and we will chop it up.
Surprised there's only 6 of us on here tonight.
Yeah, I'm
Yeah,
a
I
surprised
gotta
too.
leave here, Charles. So I'll see you guys
All right, hey,
Friday
thanks
night.
for coming in, Mark.
Yeah, Mark.
Thanks for
Yeah.
sharing.
I'll
Appreciate
take
it.
some pictures at the I Built It event.
All right, sounds great.
All right.
Take care, Mark.
Sounds great. Well, I've been cleaning mufflers. I have a friend's gonna fix them for me, so I thought I'd at least clean them before I sent them to him. And then today I didn't get a chance to do any flying. I gotta build my second stunt trainer. I got one right now, and I'm almost the same position I've usually been in, where I have just one plane, and I want to get the second one going so that um, I can have the confidence that if I do nick one up, I can just pull the other one out of the vehicle and fly again, of the same plane. So I was hoping to finish it or get it pretty much finished, the second one, but I didn't. Too many things in life got in the way. But hopefully I'll get that in the next couple of days so I can go out there Friday and really show that I have a pair. Get down low.
Bring the wheelbarrow.
Yeah.
I've got that if you want, whenever you want.
All right, go ahead. Oh yeah, thank you, John.
That's looking at it from the top, and he's gotten a little further with it since then. Oops, where'd it go? Oh, come on. Things. Oh, there it is. Well, where'd my share go? Am I still sharing?
Yeah. You're still sharing.
And I've got, and it's okay. It's got to be this one. I can't see it now.
Well, do your Alt and the Tab key, and hit the tab, holding down the Alt.
Alt and what key?
And tab. Yeah.
Oh,
And with the tab, you touch the tab, and you can kind of cycle through your windows. Well, I can end your screen share if that'll help you.
I'm going to end it. Do it over again. I'm sorry. There's three pictures. There's 3 pictures.
No problem.
So I'll get started on it again. Make sure I got, okay, that's there. Sorry it takes so much time.
That's all right. Hey, it's all right.
Oh, wait a minute. I see what happened. Hold on a minute. Back off a minute. Back off a minute. I've got, I need to double click on that to get it big. There we go. Now, that's what happened. Okay, so here it is. Okay, so that's the one I just showed. Is it up again now?
Yep, it's up. Yeah.
Okay, so here's the next one.
All right.
Okay,
Thank you.
just show the new Pathfinder that he's building on the bench here.
All right.
And the twin sitting down here. Now the last picture is he's got his tank and his plumbing hooked up. He had some trouble with getting the tanks and the spinner. He got the wrong, it didn't fit, the wrong size for road accident. anyway, I forget the whole gist of the message. He got 3.5 ounce tanks from him, and it looks like either he got them to work or he got something else. But there he's starting to hook the plumbing up. I'm hoping that he'll have it ready to fly for this weekend. So that's his. Are those the pictures that he sent you?
Yes. Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay. So I'll go
Thank
ahead and
you.
stop sharing here. All right.
All right.
Better sit up or I'll be falling asleep.
Yeah, sit up, sit up, sit up.
Sit up or fall asleep.
Yeah. I'm looking at the stunt forum, looking at the open section, the open forum, trying to see if there's anything interesting in here we can talk about.
It's been very quiet lately. Have you noticed?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Very quiet.
Well, it looks like
There's a
another.
fellow that built a Pathfinder LE, and he's had a problem getting his insides are tighter than his outsides. And so he's got it set up where it's not easily adjustable for his elevator link. And I myself think he needs to shorten his elevator link, the push rod,
Right.
because I think he's biased with some up bias in there.
Maybe, yeah.
The flaps. But there's other people telling all kinds of things to do. So it's an interesting discussion, but it would take a little bit while to read it out. But he's been told to put down thrust in it. Well, I'm always in favor of down thrust, but if he didn't put it in the first place, it's kind of going to mess it up looks wise, because that'll put a spinner down. The top edge would be about 1/8 of an inch or 3/32 of an inch from offset from
Ring. From the ring, yeah.
from the ring. And it is possible to fly without down thrust. You can put a little bit more elevator droop in there to give a little more positive incidence in the stab and elevator. So that would help. And there's other trimming things you can do that I wouldn't recommend if he didn't build a down thrust in it and it's a full body and it's all finished. I would try other things before. I wouldn't try to put down thrust in it, even though I'm a big advocate of down thrust. But I do really believe that he needs to put a little elevator droop in there, because it sounds like he's running with a little positive elevator, or up elevator compared to the flaps. The flaps might be up, and anyway, just needs to get matched up.
Hey, John Skugelak is in the house. Hey, John, thanks for coming in.
Hi, John.
Nice to be here. Hi, everybody.
Hi.
Can you hear me?
We can. That's what you've been up to.
Well, I can show you just a little bit here. It was a slow night, so I decided to jump in and.
Thank you. I appreciate that. Thanks for listening.
And I've got a question for Len. I'm building a Vector 40, so there's the wing on my bench.
Good job.
Looks good.
So that's in process. And I always listen to you, Stuart, talking about your nobler ARF and the things that you're doing. I did one of those, and so I'll show you that right here.
Oh, nice. That looks good.
That's my nobler ARF, and I ripped it apart and put in adjustable lead outs and an adjustable control system with a suspended bell crank, and beefed up the nose end. You guys have talked about that a lot. So finally got a chance to go out and fly it for just a little bit yesterday, and looking forward to doing more of that.
How did you beef up your front end on your Nobler?
Well, maybe I can show it here.
Yeah.
I guess I can't. I put pretty heavy sized balsa in between the engine bearers back in the tank compartment.
Okay. All right. That's good.
Okay. And so back in there. And then you guys were talking about the gussets or the triangles
right
in the front part. And so what I did there is a variation of that. I got some heavy plywood, and if I can get this on camera there, you can see the one piece on top here that goes into the corner, made by this bear and the firewall. And then on the other side of that's another one just the same size, doing the same thing on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
And so my engine run was great.
All right.
What I have in it is a Tom Dixon Brodak 40.
Uh-huh.
And the motor ran great, but I couldn't get it to 2-cycle at all. I couldn't even needle it to transition from a 4-cycle to a 2-cycle. So I actually talked with Tom today about that, and I'm gonna try either a different glow plug, or I may have to take the head off and see if there are too many shims.
And shims, yeah.
And so I don't really know what that issue. And if any of you guys have run into that kind of thing, I'd love to hear your thoughts or what you found to be the resolution.
Pitch prop you running?
I tried a couple different ones, Len. I started with an 11 4.5.
Okay.
Cyclone brand that I got from Randy Smith. And then I tried an 11.5 APC. And so that's the other question I have too. Is it a matter of not having enough pitch? So, I'll try an 11.6. Dixon said he cuts an 11.6 down to a 10.5/6. Well, I've never cut down a prop, so I may try that, but I'm a little nervous about that. Trying to change the size of a propeller.
There was just one.
Jim,
Go ahead, Charles.
Jim Lee, he has a really good scribing tool he sells. It's like a brass thing in the center that goes into the hole of the prop, and then he has a piece of metal bent with a point, and you can scribe one blade, and then you can turn the prop around the other side and scribe the other, and then you just basically just cut it close to it, and then sand it right to the line that you scribed, and they're both blades are the same size, same length. It's pretty easy with that tool. I absolutely love that tool. I love all Jim
the same
Lee's
one.
tools.
It's a good tool.
I'll have to get one of those and give that a try. Now, if you do that with a wooden prop, do you have to seal the wood where it's cut with something?
Yeah, I usually just use a bit of CA.
CA, okay, all right.
Yeah, rub a little bit of CA on it with a paper towel. That seals it right up and makes it shine just like the rest of the prop.
Yeah,
and that's good enough.
And I use a sander.
What about with
to cut? I'm sorry.
What about with an APC? No, I'm
Don't
listening.
worry about it.
Yeah, just cut it. And I use a disc sander to remove the wood instead of trying to cut the blade. It might cause more problems with trying to cut it, but you can sand it without damaging or having any splitting or anything like that. So I recommend it that way.
Yeah, that makes sense to me too. Then you're not risking putting any stress cracks in the wood.
Cracking it. Yeah, exactly.
If you are gonna
just cut it, you need a very fine blade. Otherwise, that's exactly what will happen. You'll crack the prop.
Yeah, okay.
Yeah.
And Len, I wanted to ask you about something you said, I don't know, a couple hangouts ago, with the struggle to find good glow plugs for stunt, and I've been looking for them, and there are certain ones that have worked for me. And I never knew that there were any OS plugs that are good for stunt. You said that you use, I think, number 6.
I will show you the one I'll show you the one I use. Okay, I'll bring one in. Hang on.
Okay, great. Thank you.
Great. Let me say hi to Cha-Cha. Hey, Cha-Cha, thanks for coming in again. I know you came in recently, and I couldn't even get a chance to say hi to you. And then when I looked, you wasn't there no more. So you probably had to go. I know you have a life besides this as well.
Yes.
But thanks for coming in. What you been up to?
I got some flying done on Saturday. My cardinal was down for a bit because of the leak in the remote needle valve. So when I was in Florida, I got a needle valve assembly from Bob Brooks. So
All
I
right.
just removed the entire remote needle valve, put the assembly through the venturi, and that just solved the problem. Flying was interesting on Saturday because when I got to the field, there were some southern lapwings, and they are known for nesting on the ground. So they chased me a bit before I got some flying done. Yeah, so Saturday was fun.
Good. Hang on 1 second, shots. Let me see what this glow plug looks like, Lynn. Let me make it big.
One I've been using. This is the one as my sort of go-to plug, which is an LC3 hot.
Wow.
OS
That's
plug.
an OS. Yeah.
OS
You know what? I bought
LC3
the wrong
hot.
thing then.
The other one, but it's older, is the A3. The A3 number 6 is also a hot plug. It says right on
So
it. You can
that's
see it where it
that's
says
the
hot
same as
there in
this,
red.
right?
I believe it's the same plug basically.
Okay.
So
And
an
they work well?
LC3, an LC3 or an
Okay.
A6 hot
I'll
plug.
write LP3 down.
LC3.
LC3. Yeah. Okay. Good.
LC3 hot. Or
Okay.
number 6 A3.
So with the number 6, because I bought a few of those, you get the kind of stunt run you want. Is that typically a 424 break?
They seem to be a pretty good plug. They're a hot plug and they seem to be fairly decent. You know, I mean, I haven't had any troubles with them. So what I do, if I'm using a different plug and I'm having troubles, I will pull out an LC3 or an A3 and put that in there because it's sort of a go-to middle of the road decent plug.
So
And if the engine
consistent,
still
reliable.
Yeah, and if the engine still doesn't run very well, it's probably not the plug. It's probably something else.
Okay, good. So what's your first choice plugs?
Well, my first choice used to be SIG plugs, but apparently they're not as good anymore. They don't seem to work as
I
well
have a
as they
bunch of
used to.
those.
Now, here's the question. Are they the newer ones that don't work as well? Or are they the older ones work beautifully? I mean, they work great. Tom
Yeah.
Dixon used to always recommend the SIG plug. It was a great plug. But then there was a change in the manufacturing or something, and then all of a sudden they weren't a very good plug anymore. So now I'm hesitant to buy them. So I haven't bought any. I've been using the OS plugs or any old stock plugs I can get my hands on, basically. I mean,
Tom
if you can
Dixon
get
recommends the OS Type F.
Type F plugs are good plugs too. They're a good plug as well, most definitely.
Yeah. They
OS
seem to be
Type
more
F is a
expensive
they're
than the
very
other one.
expensive. Yeah,
Yeah.
they're like up here in Canada, they're over $20 a plug.
Yeah.
So they're
And I
very
think a
expensive
lot of
plug.
places, I think they're that much here too in a lot of
Yeah,
places from
they're
what I'm.
very expensive. In fact, the last time I tried to get one here, I think it was $25 for one plug. So
Wow.
I haven't been buying any.
Yeah. Yeah. In fact, I looked on Brodex's site today. It was, they wanted $23 or $24 for one.
Yeah, they do. So
Yeah,
good fun doesn't come cheap, unfortunately. That's sort of where we're at now at this point.
That's
You know,
true.
$23 for a glow plug?
Yeah,
Yep.
Oh yeah.
I got a diesel.
I know Dennis is there biting his tongue. I know what he wants to say. I know it. I know exactly what he wants to say.
That's silly.
It's too funny. It's too funny.
That's silly.
As to,
I wouldn't pay no more than $8 for a glow plug. And that's too much money for a glow plug.
I was just going to ask, Len, those are A3s and everything like that. How does that compare to an A3 OS plug? Is it any comparison whatsoever?
How does which compare?
Well, you were just talking, maybe I misread you there. You were just showing
I have an
A,
LC3
oh,
and I have an
LC3.
A3. Now I
Okay.
don't know what the difference is. I haven't sort of compared them. I use either or. They both seem
Okay.
to work pretty good from what I've
Okay.
seen.
I think, Denny, from what I saw in my searches is that this new OS number 6 is the old A3.
right.
Okay. So in other words, the LC3 is the A3.
No, he's saying the
Now the number 6 is the old A3. I read that somewhere.
Oh,
I think.
okay. Okay. I see what you mean. Yeah.
that's
Okay.
why you have
All right.
both A3 and A6 on your card there.
Okay. I see what you're saying. Yeah, because it has both right on here. Yeah. Number
Right.
6
Yeah, which
and
didn't mean
A3.
anything to me. Didn't mean anything to me because I don't know the 6 from an A3, but I did gather that the 6 is the same as the old A3, I think.
Right.
Right.
That's right. That's correct.
That's right. That's correct. Where the LC3 fits in, I don't know in comparison, but that's the
I have
newer
it.
one that's out today.
You might find the heat chart if you go to their OS website. They have a heat
That's
chart where you
possible.
can actually see where it falls in as far as the heat range.
Okay. That's
Yeah.
cool.
Yeah.
I understand that the heat range is determined by the size of the hole that the element is sitting in. The bigger the hole, the hotter the heat range. Am I right on that? I see Steve shaking his head. Yes. Is that
Makes
right?
sense. I don't know if
Yeah.
you're right, but it makes sense
Yeah. Well, that's
because
what
it would allow for a larger area of heat to sit there in the plug.
well, I think you get more fuel in there and you get more catalytic reaction to the fuel with more in there.
Right.
But the larger opening would make it hotter.
Right.
But
I
until
agree with you.
until I remember where I read that, I just got to take it as hearsay. Yeah, but it's something to consider. Thanks, Denny. Got it today. Appreciate it.
All right. Hey, Cha, did we finish up? I know I stopped you to see what the glow plugs Lynn had for us.
Yes, I did.
All right, cool. Let me go to Steve Manchella. Hey, Steve, how's it going? Thanks for coming in.
All right. How are you guys tonight?
Good. And you been doing any flying this weekend or building?
I flew to Strega on Friday, and then Sunday I went to the field, and it was a beautiful day, but there was nobody to help me pit my airplane, so I just kind of hang out for an hour and then turn around and went home.
Oh man, you gotta buy a
Sucks.
stooge. Or you gotta make a stooge.
Yeah, I have a stooge, but it's I don't want a stooge of 60.
Hey, I used to stooge my 80. I mean, well, my stooge is pretty
Yeah,
robust, but I stooged my 81.
yeah,
I mean, I have it.
Yeah, when
I had like 4 stakes holding down the stooge, and I have like cement paver on top of that, so it's not
no,
going anywhere.
You have one
I'm not
stake
gonna.
next to your belt.
No.
I'm not gonna put my 60 on a stooge.
Wendy used to do it all the time. If you watch Wendy
No,
videos,
yeah, he used to
he was
stooge his 90.
yeah.
Oh yeah,
I
all
just
the
you
time,
just
no
gotta
problem.
develop confidence toward it, but as long as your stooge is planted, the
It
engine's
isn't going anywhere.
not going
right.
anywhere.
Just don't walk in front of the lines on your way out to the handle.
Right.
That's right.
But walk behind
That
the
is
airplane.
right.
Yeah,
John,
exactly.
you are
Yes.
so right. By the way,
Absolutely.
you shouldn't do that at any time. Walking in front of the lines is a bad thing at any time because you never know what could happen.
Yeah,
Yeah.
I see guys do that all the time, and I scratch my head.
Scary. Absolutely scary.
Yeah. The only time I walk in front of my plane is when it's not running.
Yeah.
You see, I think I think Sparky came in after Steve. Hey, Sparky, thanks for coming in. How you doing?
All right. I'm
See-
just mixing up some resin here.
All right, I'll let you focus
Good
on that.
lands.
And let me say hi to Howard. Hey, Howard, how's it going?
Hey, I walk in front of my stage line all the time.
You do?
Yeah.
Oh, no. Yeah, I just make it
Well,
a
you
habit to
probably
walk
have
behind.
you probably have quick feet, Howard.
Have what feet?
Quick feet.
Quick feet?
Yeah, yeah. If the plane starts to move, you can quickly, like a cat, jump up in the air and let the lines get by.
No. I'll tell you what happens after that happens.
Okay. You know that Howard has a timer. I mean, the motor's not even spinning up until he probably is waiting at the handle.
That's right.
Engine.
Oh, that's right. I forgot about that.
Yeah, us electric guys can do, but I still maintain
That's pretty safe. That's pretty safe.
Well, you got to do something within 40 seconds there, or bad things could happen.
Yeah, bad things could happen.
I don't remember where I walked with the acoustic airplanes. The problem with a stooge with an electric airplane is that you got to lubricate it. It's not self-lubricating anymore.
True.
Yeah, true enough.
Good point. You've been flying, Howard?
A little bit. Hey, it's raining cats and dogs. There was most of the day. Philip, did you get your box?
No, not yet. Maybe in the morning.
Maybe so.
I hope in the morning. We'll check.
All right.
If I drop off here, guys, we got a heck of a storm brewing, and they're telling us on TV it's going to be a massive one. So I may have to shut this thing down and head for the basement. I don't know what's going on.
Wow.
Holy
Okay.
cow.
Well, be safe.
Now let me look.
That's a bad one. We don't want to see a tornado going and you sailing across the room, Phil.
No, I'd rather not. That's but there, with all the noise they're making on TV about this one, it's hail and the whole bit. So I don't know what's going on. I walked outside a few minutes ago. Just came in from walking the dog, and I mean, there's a little lightning, but it's not even raining right now. So I don't know what the heck,
It's nice
But
here.
I mean, this is North Carolina. If you don't like the weather, wait 15 minutes. It'll change.
That's what we say around here.
What was
John,
that,
I got the plans printed, and they're sharp, but they are large.
They are 6 foot long.
I'm trying to figure out if I have something big enough to transport this thing once I get it built.
Well, it's a 55-inch wingspan, I think.
I think it's 55 wingspan, but look at the fuselage on that puppy. It's bigger than an SV-11.
You talking about the Trailblazer?
Yeah, it's bigger than an SV-11. The nose moment is like 11 7/8. The tail moment's 19, I think, 19 and something, 19 and 3/4 or something.
I was trying to balance out all that mass up at the front.
Yeah. I think I'm gonna wait for the electric version. My gosh.
Well,
I was thinking about building it and putting the Tiger 60 in it. And then I did just what y'all been talking about. I went and went to buy a couple glow plugs. And my God, I have to refinance something to do this. $22 a piece for glow plugs? Come on.
Yep.
I bought $100 worth of glow plugs 2 years ago. I think I got 11 plugs, and I was upset. Then I was really upset when I found out I couldn't use any of them because the coil stopped about a 1/16 of an inch up in the plug. The motor would start, but as soon as you took the battery off, it'd quit.
It wasn't connected to the It wasn't connected. The coil wasn't connected to the case.
No, it's connected.
Oh no, the coil was connected. It was just too short. The wire was too short.
Probably one of those fake fake plugs that were being sold under Enya name or.
Well, sold sold as a SIG plug, but
Mm.
they didn't work very well.
Ah,
Oh man, sorry to hear that.
Yeah, it was $100 wasted, and felt bad for Tom Looper and some of the other guys because I think the total order was $230, but there was about 6 of us that were in it, but none of us got any plugs out of it.
Oh, that's messed up.
Yeah.
Huh.
Anyway, one of those things.
Now, have
that's
you
what
been
I was
flying your
talking to John
SC-11?
about, the SIG plugs.
No, I haven't. We're supposed to go in the morning if we've got a field to go to. It's with all this rain coming. It was
Right.
so soggy today, you didn't want to walk out there. It was like walking in a lake. And then this mess coming tonight, I don't know if we'll get to fly in the morning or not.
Yeah, probably
We're
not.
hoping. We're hoping. Tom called me a while ago and said we're supposed to be there at 9 o'clock. I said, 9 o'clock? He said, yeah, we're going to give it a little bit of chance for some of the rain to roll off, but I didn't know about this tonight. I thought we were done with the rain, but no, not quite.
Hey, Len,
So
are
we'll
you going
see.
to the Nats? Excuse me. Sorry.
Yes, Sparky, I will be at the Nats and at the Worlds.
Okay.
I'm going to
Sparky,
be
what are you
flying in the
getting ready to
Worlds
mold?
now.
Because that's a lot of resin.
Landing gear mold,
How many?
just one, one half.
One half of a mold.
Yep.
Are you kidding me?
Well,
No,
you've got 2 halves of the mold and it's big. You know,
It's not that big. It's
depends
not
on the
that big.
size.
this is
My
60,
word, that's a lot.
this
That's a
is
lot of resin.
67 ounces.
Wow.
Okay. That just seems like a god awful lot of resin.
And I'll have just a little bit left over when I pour this in there. And I
Huh.
mean, if I figured right, maybe an
That's
ounce.
what you're making the landing gear legs from?
No, that's what the mold is for. I'll show you what it looks like.
Watch that thing kick off while he's got his.
No, looks just like this.
Oh, you're making a mold.
Right.
Oh, okay. Okay, now I understand. I thought you were making a landing gear, and I was like, good golly, for what, a Cessna?
Oh, so you're making the mold out of fiberglass, Sparky?
No, this is Alumacast casting resin. Got
Oh,
aluminum in
okay.
it.
Oh, okay.
Huh. That's why it's gray, huh?
Well, if you sand it like this mold here, if you sand it, you see how shiny it is?
Yes.
The aluminum comes up to the top.
Wow.
Beautiful.
I need a top piece like this.
Oh, I see. Gotcha. And then what's the landing gear made out of? Carbon fiber?
Yeah,
Nice.
landing gear from the big mold there look like that.
Nice.
You gonna bring some of those weed to oh, for crying out loud, Brodax?
Yeah,
Good, I want one.
I'll have some tanks. I'll have some gear. Maybe a couple bell cranks. I don't know. I just been, I haven't been streaming much because you guys aren't interested in this molding shit. But they do worse than the rebuild did. So I just been kind of doing my thing here.
Well, I must be one of the oddballs because I'd like to see it, but anyway.
Well, I showed how to make the mold. All I gotta say is if anybody wants to make this, you better get ready to outlay some money because this ain't cheap.
That much I figured. Ain't nothing cheap anymore.
This is ridiculously expensive getting in this composite shit. They want $750 for a creel of carbon toe. 50K.
Sparky,
Yeah,
I've got part of a roll I can give you, okay?
yeah, that sounds good.
I'll bring
Can't
it to
beat
the
the
nets.
price.
I'll bring it to the nets. I'll keep a little bit for myself, but I got it from Wendy, so I'll give it to you because I'm not going to use it.
Is it 50K or what? How is, you
I'll bring
know,
it up and show you on here. Hang on.
okay. What I'm doing here is I'm vibrating this to get the air bubbles out.
Okay.
Well, that looks scary.
Yeah, it
Don't
would be.
don't go very far away.
No.
What a mess that would be.
If it flips off on the
Yes, that would
floor,
be.
what a mess that'd be.
Yeah, I do stuff like that all the time.
Yeah, I do. I do too.
I would love to say I have no idea what you're talking about, but guilty.
This is a vibrator. When I made those teeth, this is
Right.
this is how you vibrate the plaster to get the bubbles to come out. And we'll vibrate this a minute or two, and then I'll pour it in the mold, and I'll use a torch on top to get the air bubbles off. But this should be all right. What happened with that other mold is I had some I can't remember.
Pay attention to it now. Don't get distracted.
I had a thermal reaction in this, and it made some air bubbles, some air pockets there. So I had to recast it. I got another gallon in the heat box that's 2 years old. It only has a year shelf life, but Danny told me to put it in the heat box and bring it up, the heat up for a couple of days, so it's in the heat box and it should be all right. I got enough in that gallon and this gallon to do the top half. Here.
Any air bubbles coming up?
Oh yeah. Microscopic bubbles.
You also put a vacuum pump on it.
Yeah, I got a vacuum pump, but I don't have a chamber big enough.
Oh, okay.
If I put a vacuum pump on it, it would raise like a cake and fall.
Yep.
Because I did that with the other molds, the silicone molds that I was doing, but they were smaller. Then I could put it in a metal container. I just don't have nothing big enough for this. Danny says don't even worry about this, but
I never worried about it.
it can't hurt, so we'll just let it
Yeah. Well, it can't hurt if it falls on the floor. That's what I'm worried about.
It could hurt big time because it would be a huge mess.
Yeah.
Wow. Well, let me go back to Dennis Adamison. I haven't had you tell us what you're up to, what you've been up to, Dennis.
Nothing.
Nothing?
Pretty much.
Dennis?
I've been chasing grandkids and whatever. Just got back from a
Oh.
weekend dance competition up in Lansing, and but I did get. Let me show off my new T-shirt here.
Make you
Hang on a
big here.
second. All right. Can you read that?
I want.
I don't
Buy
think
your
I
airplane
want to
anymore.
buy the airplane.
Anymore.
Oh.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
Yep.
So
Yeah, I think that was
anyhow,
a bad deal.
that's it. I think that's a Hellcat there.
That's what it looks like.
Yeah,
That's
the
what I was
slot,
thinking it
the
was.
slot in the ground there, whatever. But
Naomi's
anyhow,
got that shirt.
I
Who does?
have
Naomi has that shirt. I just
Does
gave it
she?
to her.
All right,
Yeah,
cool.
that's awesome.
I thought you didn't
like
like
that.
green.
That's
I thought you didn't like that color green. I thought.
Well, I liked the shirt, and it was only in green, so I got a green shirt. So
All right.
So you will
Yeah.
bet.
that way, if I ever hook up with John and steal his biplane from him, I guess I'll be dressed for the part. So
There you go.
so
I'm gonna get that thing working here yet.
I know you will. You have it working. It's just a question. You just got to
Oh.
get it, get it out and work.
Well,
Just keep flying it.
convinced. I'm convinced I need to put a taller
Wow.
rudder on it. Whoa, look at that.
That's a lot left.
Sparky,
Yeah, I
Sparky,
use
can you
it.
see that?
Yeah.
Is
About
that
a
carbon
visit.
I got about-
fiber thread?
That's what that is, carbon toe.
That's carbon fiber toe, carbon toe.
Oh
I got it
man.
from
It's about a
Wendy, and
bazillion
that
dollars worth, isn't it? So
And I can
yeah,
only hear
it's-
one
it's
guy at a
got some-
time.
it's got some value to it. I mean, it's I got about 3/4 of an inch left on the roll. Wendy gave it to me. I'm gonna keep some for myself, but I'll give the rest to you, Sparky, because I know you'll put it to good use.
All right, thanks.
No problem.
Very cool. Thank you for sharing. Hey, Dennis, I do have some information for you. You've been asking me, as I did try the increase in pitch on the SV11.
yeah, okay.
Remember that? Remember me doing that? And so when I charged the battery, I ended up putting back into a 2828 into
Okay.
a 3500 milliamp battery. So I think that's 80%.
Okay. And how much were you doing before that? Did it make a difference? Did it
Yeah, it
save
made a
you any?
difference. Yeah, it's I think before I forgot when I put back more into it. I forgot what it was. I have it in my notes, but yeah, so it gave me a better cushion. So
Okay.
I'm probably consuming 80% as opposed to 95% like before.
Yeah. So well,
What
your
did you
batteries
change
will
from
like
and
you for
to?
that. So
I used to have a 13, I think it was a 13.6 prop, I think, and then I put a 13.7 on it. So I was able to slow the motor down to get the back to the lap time. And when I done with I did 5 minutes and 20 seconds on the timer, and so I'm not going so far into the batteries as I was before. These are the LiPo batteries.
Yeah.
and that's with that's on the SV, right? And your SV, find my
Yes.
SV on a 12.6.
Well, maybe it's a 12.7 that I put on
Okay.
there. It's the
To say if you got a
badass 12.7.
13, you got a 13, you might just try it with the 12 because the airplane will probably fly better with the 12. But I don't know. I thought mine
Mine
did.
sure likes a
I used to have a
12.6 3 blade.
13.5.5 on mine, and I switched it out for a 12.6, and I thought it flew better. Just seemed to turn better and stuff. So
Yeah.
Oh,
I know it's exciting, Phil, but
yeah.
oh.
I've got a 12.6 3.
Hold on to yourself, Phil.
I had a 12.6 3 blade on my SV, and now it's got a 12. Now it's got an 11.5/6 3 blade. But I have not flown it with the new prop on it yet. It's
Oh, I thought
went out
maybe
there
it
the other
was.
day to fly it, and the place was flooded. So I said, "Well, the heck with this."
I was worried maybe you buzzed that expensive prop down from 12 to 11.
No, I cut it down. I marked it and cut it and rebalanced it, and yeah, then they're not. These are Master Air Screw. They're $15 a piece.
Oh, that's not bad.
Once I get it working, then I'll put the high dollar one on there, but not until. I'm crazy, but I ain't that crazy.
Well, that's up for vote.
Well, you know. Ooh,
I should talk. huh?
Boy, I saw that one, Phil.
yeah, we're getting
That
light
was
to
a
show
Window
out
just
here.
lit up there. So
That was a
Yeah.
slow pitch, wasn't it?
Yeah. Yeah, I can hear a lot of booming going on out there, but when the light show starts getting close, I'm gonna get away from this window because the wind's already howling pretty good.
All right.
uh-oh.
You don't need
It's,
no
uh,
broken
what
glass in your
What does
face.
Stewart have?
No,
I think
You got
Stewart's
your-
he's gonna show off his plans like John Miller shows off plans, only he's gonna show them off a little different than what John shows them.
What are those plans, Stewart? Your Fancherized Twister plans? Oh, he's muted.
Yeah, muted. Ah,
That's
there
what
you
it
go.
looks
Can't hear
like.
you.
Miniaturized twister.
All right.
And this little guy right here.
Yeah.
That's a CG mark.
Yeah.
That's
Yeah.
it.
Okay.
Where they
That's
got that
So
for?
where was yours?
I know that's what
Wasn't there.
I'm gonna check it right now.
Mine
Yeah,
is
you're
usually
gonna be.
right,
It's
right
way
in front
off.
of the spars.
Sorry?
Mine is usually right in front of the spars.
If it's is it a fancherized twister though?
Yeah,
Oh, I don't know. That's where they show it on here. So
that's pretty safe spot to start.
That's
Sure
where I'd
seems
start.
nose heavy, don't it?
Yeah,
What's
looks nose heavy, but that's a good place to start because what they say, you fly a nose heavy airplane several times, but a tail heavy one you fly once.
Yeah, I found out today. I flew his twister and it was tail heavy.
Really?
This one,
Okay.
Oh yeah,
the one he just showed the plans to.
yeah. I flew it today for him, and it was very tail heavy.
I wonder where it balances.
Right about the spar.
Hmm.
Well,
Right
if
about
you
the-
see, if
Well,
you
it's got to be. Go ahead.
you see where the CG's out on the plans right there, it's going to fall on the tail if you pick it up there.
Well,
Unless it's got a super long nose with a big weight on the front of it.
well, the point is you want the CG to come out between like 20 to 24, 25% of the mean average cord.
It doesn't matter how long the nose or tail moment is, it should be start out at 25%. 10
It
inches
should
forward,
be
2.5 inches back.
it should be right about the front of the main spar, just right at the main spar, right? Somewhere
If
around
you
the
look at
front lead out.
If you look at the plans he had there, where the front edge of the main spar, and there's a dotted line coming up above. It should be in between those 2 points, I would think. Sure. Put
Between
your
the
finger on that dotted line right behind the CG mark. See it right there, right? No, go towards the back of the air. There it is.
Right there.
right there.
Well,
Between
that's just
between the
that's just
leading
the
edge.
doubler
That's the
line.
doubler.
That's
Yeah.
That's
just the
original
doubler.
doubler line.
I know, but that's a good point of reference.
Guys, that's
Between
not
the
the
leading
doubler.
edge of that spar, that main spar, and that line is, you could start. I'd start at about that line and see how you
That
went.
is the
there.
doubler.
What's the cord from the root, from the leading edge to the trailing edge?
It's constant,
I know, but what is the distance between the leading edge and the trailing edge? I'll tell you how far back it should be.
including the flaps.
including the flaps.
You have a tape measure there?
To here?
Yeah.
Yeah.
I
That's
think
the
what
mean
he needs
average
to know
cord.
is hinge line to hinge line.
It's 10.5 inches.
About 2.5 to 2 3/4 back from the leading edge.
Yeah,
Right.
two and 3/4 back
That's-
from the front.
It might be a little much.
2.5 maybe, but not 2 3/4. I wouldn't think.
I go 2.5 for starters.
Well, the little emblem says about roughly 1.25.
Yeah.
Well, it's
According
your
according to the little emblem, it looks like it would be tail heavy unless it had a super long nose and a lot of weight in the nose. Unless it was very nose heavy.
The other way around. If they,
The other way
Other
around.
way around. Yeah.
It's nose
The
heavy.
other way around. Yeah, that's right.
Well,
You
I'll see.
got
I'm gonna try it right now and see where.
do you have a
balances.
heavy hub or a nose weight? One of those, some kind of nose weight you can put on it?
Bring the airplane out.
Yeah. Just a sec.
Oh, look at that. Got an
Pieces of
electric, got another
airplanes.
one started.
That's an interesting idea, putting a paper towel up there on the ceiling. Oh, I guess I'm not used to it because I'm short, so I never think to do that.
We're vertically challenged, Charles.
Yes, that's right. I know we are partners in crime, man.
I'm a little taller, but I got a 16-foot ceiling, so
Yeah, yeah, you wouldn't do it
That's
either.
a ceiling there.
Grab it by the tips.
Well,
Grab it at the
that,
tips.
The tips.
It doesn't matter.
Yeah, I'd rather just do it here for me.
It doesn't matter.
But I'm gonna,
Constant cord wing, it don't matter.
Yeah, my CG machine I use, it's right close to the
Yeah, mine
fuselage.
too.
The thing
bought a
is, though,
seat.
with your hands, it's hard to balance the airplane on your fingertips like that, like a
Trying to get it,
balancing
yes.
machine.
I like that Vanessa sling thing. I haven't got one, but I plan on building one.
Pick it up by the tips. Real simple.
You know, I'll let him do that real quick. Hey, John
Yeah.
Skukulak, did you get all your questions answered?
You know, I did have one follow-up question / thought when we were talking about glow plugs. And this is what I've always heard. You know, we want hot plugs. We want the plugs that are the hot ones, right?
Yeah.
It all depends, really.
It depends. Okay, so maybe that's beginning to answer my question, because when Dom Dixon said, in his opinion, the best plug is this OS F, the one that we said was so expensive.
4-stroke.
Okay.
Yeah.
When you look at the description of that plug, it says medium.
All right.
That's right.
Which I thought was a little confusing. But
think
Charles,
the
to your
four-
point, maybe it's not always the hottest plug.
I
No,
think
it's not
the,
always the highest plug. It's
I
not
think
always.
the other wild card on the 4-stroke plug is I think it was a little bit longer. I thought it reached into the combustion chamber a little deeper than a normal plug did.
Yeah, you're right.
Okay.
You're right, Mr. Amundsen.
So not bad for the electric guy, huh? But
Not bad.
It's
Cooking
the
along.
real world.
yeah, but it just, the heat range, it's probably still a medium heat range, but because it's in a different perspective to the combustion chamber, it would behave a little bit differently. That's all.
Absolutely. Absolutely.
Go ahead, Steve McChannel. Go ahead.
I'm just listening to Dennis. He's hitting the
Okay, I
nail on
thought
the
you had
head.
a question.
No.
I mean, not to throw a wrench and everything, but my Stalker 81, when I was in contact with the manufacturer, after they had worked on. I had 2 Stalker 81s, and when I asked him what glow plug to put in, he said to put a cool glow plug in.
Yeah.
So it all depends upon the manufacturer, and it's
Depends on the fuel.
yeah. I'm
exactly.
using no nitro, so it was just a cool plug. And when I put a number OS Max number 10, which is an expensive glow plug, but I really loved how the motor ran with the cool plug.
Really? Wow.
Yeah. Yeah.
Maybe that's why my stalkers don't run where the poop. I need to try a cool plug. That's a
Maybe.
good idea, Charles.
Yeah, I put a number
Try
10.
OS 10. 10s are hard to find around here. We can
And they're
I found some
expensive.
8s.
10s
Yeah,
are
I found some 8s.
expensive.
I went to the hobby shop and they had 2 number 8s and I got them both. But I couldn't get a 10.
I always
I
go
don't have a
back to
10 yet.
what the manufacturer says on the engine.
Right.
And if I run into a problem, I go back to stage 1 and then work from there again. And I've always
Right.
run it back at zero nitro, methanol and 17-18% oil. And in case of stalkers, that's all synthetic.
Yeah.
Yeah, so that's what I was told. And I liked the motor run. I really liked it. It was really nice.
I like
It's
the
been
way
a
they
while.
start.
I can't tell you what it sounded like, but I remember distinctively thinking, wow, this is nice.
His 81's got better memory, better manners than my 60s, most of them.
Yeah,
But the
It's just
strange
easy to
thing
start.
is when I started my 81, I was using like a medium plug, and as it got broken in, I ended up using the cooler plug, and it worked better with the cooler plug, a number 10.
Well, I don't know what was in it when I started it, but that thing was just, I mean, it was just so well mannered.
Yeah.
And it just
Stalker,
ran so solid.
stalkers aren't made to run hot. They're not made for nitro, are they?
No,
Yeah,
I
they're
don't
not
I
made
don't
for nitro.
believe they're
No
really
nitro.
designed for nitro. They're designed to run on no nitro. And yes, they're very cool powered engine.
Yeah.
Is
A very
that
cool powered engine. The only reason you should put nitro in a stalker, and if you do put nitro in a stalker, it should only be 2% or 2.5%, and that should be when the temperature is above 80 degrees Fahrenheit outside. That's the
another
only thing you should ever run nitro in a stalker, from what I've read.
another case where it might be made to run it is if you're used to running at, say, sea level, 600 feet, somewhere in there, and then you go up to fly at, say, Denver. You may need
Okay.
to have nitro there.
Right. And I learned that the hard way, Mr. Miller, in Tucson, because when I got to Tucson this year, none of my airplanes flew on 10%. And Joe Gilbert told me if I would have had some 30%, I'd probably been okay.
Yep. Probably would have been okay with 15.
And I think somebody on Stunthangar told me before I left to make sure that I packed some nitro. And I thought, oh, well, I don't need no nitro. It flies in Vegas, you know. And sure enough, I got there, and boy, I learned the hard way.
There's an old quote from an old movie long time ago. He goes, "We don't need no stinking nitro."
Yeah, right. Till you get to Tucson.
Till you get to Tucson.
I don't know what it is out there, but if you don't bring some nitro, you just don't have any beans.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah, I learned about that, boys.
The air's thin. The air's thin. It's always wind.
Tell you what's nice is you go to Tucson from where I live.
Alexa, what's the temperature now?
You're going down and
I'm going down in elevation. Yeah.
Yeah.
That makes it easy. That makes it easy for you.
Yeah.
I've been out there where John is, and I'll tell you what, on a hot day in some parts of Utah, it's hard to breathe.
Really?
For us lowlanders that aren't used to it, you know, fly from North Carolina out there in the middle of summer, think you're gonna jump off the airplane, jump in the rental car, go to somebody's office, fix their machine, and take off and go do something else. And by the time it was miserable.
Winded,
I had a hard
tired.
time breathing. Yeah.
Lowlanders that come up here in the hot days when they're outside, we call them mouth breathers.
Yeah, you mouth breather. I was sucking ice Pepsis all day. Just something cool.
Yeah.
And just breathe off of it. Just try to catch man, I'm telling you, it was miserable. I got back in the car. I was ready to go. I just turned on the AC wide open and forget about going anywhere. It was just too hot. Thank you. Whew, that's hot. But it was miserable. I don't know how they breathe that stuff. That's my old man.
You guys see that in the open forum that Bob Hunt was out and about? I guess he found some really nice wood at Hobby Lobby.
Yes, he did.
Yeah, I read that.
Yeah.
I just got wood from National Balsa today.
Yeah, what do you think of it?
It's not the lightest I've ever had, but it's well worth the money. It was 5 pound stuff.
Oh, nice.
No 3.5 pound shit, but all 5 pound. So make good ribs. What I need it for.
Yeah.
About 10 sheets, 1/8 inch. So make my 80 ribs out of that.
So how much did it cost per sheet? I mean, per sheet of 16.
I didn't buy any 16th. I bought 6 sheets of 3/32 and 10 sheets of 1/8 inch was $129 with shipping. He sent me. They figured they knew who I was. He sent me a National Balsa hat.
Nice.
And sent me a T-shirt that I can't wear, XL.
Oh, too bad.
Well, send it to one of, hey, Sparky, send it to one of your fat friends.
Yeah, I'm gonna
Make
give
it
it to
a
somebody.
make it a giveaway.
There you
Yeah,
go.
I'm gonna give it to
give
somebody.
give it view it or give it a view, make it a viewer giveaway for some of
I
your
have
fans
I
here.
have gone to some of the local places, craft stores and all that. Once in a while, you'll go in there and find 2 or 3 sheets of balsa that are really good balsa, because the people building the Barbie doll houses and all, doll houses for their daughters or whatever, that's too light, that's too punky. They don't want that. And you'll literally find that, but you'll only find a few sheets.
Mm-hmm.
But it's worth looking for.
Yeah. So what I do is I bought the pocket scale at Harbor Freight, fits in your pocket, and I go online to the balsa density calculator on Stunthangar Forum. Right there in the store, I just calculate with a tape measure what the dimensions are and what the density is, and I determine if it's worth my wallet to buy it.
Here's the wood I got right here. I'll tell you what, you can tell that this is new growth. It's not old growth, just by the color of it. This
White.
that's 22. That's the heaviest, one of the heavier sheets. 18, 16, 16, 16. Well, these are 332nd.
Looks good and clear.
Yeah, it's clear. It's mostly A grain. There's a couple of AB grains in here, which doesn't matter for the ribs. That's 24, 24, 26, 26, 26, 26, 22. That's a good one. 22, 24, 24. But it's all decent grain wood. Not quite as nice as this stuff I got from Australia, but it'll do the job what I need done. I didn't have any 8, so I couldn't build another beamer. So they had 40% off, and I took advantage of it.
Heck yes.
40% off? Wow.
Yeah. So think, if this is $129 worth of wood, 40% off, how much would this cost?
No kidding.
$200 worth.
Yeah, exactly.
They're going to price their way right out of us working at this hobby with $25 glow plugs and $10 sheets of wood and crap like that. I mean,
hey Dennis, makes electric sound a little better, don't it?
Yeah, it does, but
electric still needs balsa.
Oh, I know about the balsa, but I'm telling you, it's the glow plugs. I'm telling you what, seriously, what got me out of wanting to fly pipes was glow plugs and carbon fiber propellers. The price just kept going up and up and up and up. And then we found out that our local fuel distributor had shut down. I said, oh, the heck with this. And then I got to thinking about it. I said, well, I got an awful lot of I got several airplanes downstairs that still need glow fuel. So what am I going to do? So I got looking. I said, well, I made a couple gallons of zero nitro. So I have a friend who is a drag racer. And I asked him, where do y'all get nitro for your fuel Harley? And I just kind of made a deal with him, and he told me where he gets it. And I went and talked to them, and they said they would sell me a couple of gallons. And then they said when they get through with a race, it's a month between their races. Well, nitro goes over the hill for them in a month. So he said when they get through running, they'll just bring me what they got left. He says, we just get rid of it. He says, you can buy it. I mean, but when he told me how much it cost, I said, yeah, I'll take it. I'll take all you got extra. I talked to the guys here and I said, we'll take all you got extra from the races. So they just been out Harley racing, and I got news. I got 3 gallons to go pick up.
Wow, nice.
3 gallons sounds like a lot to us. 3 gallons of pure nitro sounds like a lot to us, but that's one run for them. One run. And I can get it for like $20 a gallon used. I mean, like that, as opposed to ordering it from the fresh guy.
At $100 a gallon.
Yeah. That's about right. 96.
I can get a gallon for 50.
Well, you're getting it cheap. The only way I can do it like it's get it when they finish racing the motorcycles. He says we might have 3 gallons left, we might not have any left. So you never know.
Yeah.
Let me get
I can,
Stuart. Hey, Stuart, did you get your CG? You figured out your CG yet on that plane?
I'm just gonna change the muffler and see how things go. Like from the plan, I was way out on it, so I'm just gonna change the muffler and see how that does. And
Were you tail heavy or nose heavy?
It was tail heavy,
I thought so.
so we're gonna experiment here. See.
Harry Higley sells a heavy hub.
Yeah.
Yeah, I got one of those. I think I used to use them a lot in this RC, so if I have to, I'll use that.
But you know, if you can gain enough weight by just going from a chip muffler back to the regular muffler, that's a good
Well,
way
he
to
had
go.
a tube on it before though.
Oh, did he?
That's what I had on it.
Yeah.
What's the difference in weight between that and the standard muffler?
It was about 0.8 of an ounce. So
8/10.
I'm gonna gain an eighth of an ounce, or not an eighth, sorry, 0.8.
That's 8/10.
A little over 3/4 of an ounce.
Yeah, a little over 3/4 of an ounce. Well, that's
That
a
might
good
be
start.
enough.
That should help. So throw the standard muffler on. We'll
Do
try
that.
it again.
I'll get back to you when I'm got that done.
All right.
If he's gonna put like a Harry Higley heavy weight on it, you ought to do that to test, like a 2-ounce Harry Higley nose hub, and if that helps, you know, gets it close, take that off and fill the back plate with 2 ounces of lead. You don't want
Yeah,
you don't want
yeah,
that
to get the
washer running on the end of the crankshaft.
get that weight off the
Right.
crank.
no, I don't need no added weight to the crank. No way, no.
I don't know whether it's a bearing motor or bushing motor, but it'll knock the bearings of the bushing right out of it.
Mhm.
Yeah. Plus, if you happen to
Been
have
there,
a
done
crack,
that.
you might break your crank.
Yeah. Boy,
Yeah,
Gary,
He's running
actually,
a tower. He's running a Tower 40 in there, just a regular bearing engine.
A
Power
bronze
40.
bushing,
No,
Yeah, I think no.
straight bushing.
yeah, bronze bushing,
Right.
yeah. You don't want that on a bronze bushing; it'll ogle that out really quick. But
Mhm.
I wouldn't be afraid to put a 2-ounce Harry Higley washer on it. I got some hanging, and see if that helps. If that gets it close, you know, if you can tell if that's big enough. If it's not big enough, put a 3-ounce on there or a 2.5. They sell them
I don't
all the
think
way
he'll need that once he changes the muffler. It'd be pretty close.
1/2 ounce all the way to 3 ounces, I think.
If you
Well,
want to play with your calculator and do a balance of the moments on it, you can figure it out mathematically. Come damn close.
I just go,
Yeah.
yeah.
All right. Hey, see you, man.
Go ahead.
Is that's the fancerized twister, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Okay, now that airplane from the stock twister, from the trailing edge back to the rudder, is it extended in any amount 3 inches, and then isn't it beefed up a little bit from the belly to the top on the fuselage?
I know it's extended. I don't know. I don't remember
It
about.
has a piece on the top where instead of the
Right.
bubble canopy, it comes
Yeah.
up.
There's a
But
turtle.
Right, but also usually they increase the area of the stab and elevator.
Yes.
So
Symptom
in
of
other
too
words,
much paint.
so what I'm trying to get at is that airplane is going to be tail heavy because the moment of arm is longer, it's extended, and there's also more balsa wood added to stack up the turtle deck back there.
No,
And
it
if you
takes
say the
more.
stabilizer and the rudder is extended and has more area, then that airplane's going to definitely probably need some nose in the weight.
No, Steve, you got it backwards. When literally when the CG is forward, that means it weighs too heavy on the front and there's not enough with all that back there to balance it, except you move it closer to where the weight is. So you want to move it back, you got to take some of that weight off the front to move it back.
No, I think,
No,
what-
no,
No.
he's adding weight to the nose
No.
because it's tail heavy.
No. The way
Oh,
that it's set up,
never mind.
the way
Never
that
mind.
it's set up right now, if I walked over to the airplane and picked it up with 2 fingers by the fuselage, it's going to fall on the tail. It's not going to fall on the nose because of where the CG
Right.
is at and because of the addition to the aircraft. Okay, so that airplane, where it's balanced at right now, unless the nose is extended to match the tail, it's going to have some more weight put in the nose. It's
Right.
going to need nose
Right.
weight.
Usually that's the case. Yes, yes.
And that's
Right.
what I was trying to say in the beginning when you first brought those plans up. The way that airplane is set up, it looks like where you pick it up, that it's going to fall on its tail because it's very tail heavy the way that it's set up.
Yeah,
Exactly.
it is.
I guess.
Yeah,
You're right.
yeah, it's very, very tail heavy
Well,
the
it
way
doesn't,
the way that it's set.
And that's how it flew too. I flew it today.
Right.
It
Oh,
flew very
yeah, I
tail
can see.
heavy.
Yeah, right. Gave you a run for your money, didn't it?
Does
Well, it
everybody
also
know what
doesn't help.
this is a
It's just that
symptom of?
anytime I tried
Hang
to,
on,
I
hang
only
on,
flew
guys. Hang on. Say it again, Sparky.
Does everybody know what this is a symptom of?
I know there's a
Heavy
gas
wood,
to this,
too
but I
much
don't know what
paint.
it is.
Standing too close to the paint gun for too much time. I'll bet that baby looks like a diamond back there. Too much paint on it. And, 75 or 80% of the airplane is behind the center of gravity. And so you put
Right.
that paint on there, keep loading it on until it looks beautiful. Shit, it's going to flip on its back.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's
Yeah.
a good
You're
point.
right.
Yeah.
Let me welcome Stephen McBride. Hey, Stephen, how you doing?
Hey.
You're muted, Stephen.
Wait a minute.
Oh,
This is recently married Stephen McBride, isn't it?
Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah.
how's he in here this early? How's he in here this late? I mean, my goodness, Stephen, what's wrong here? Something wrong with this picture.
yeah.
It's
What's wrong?
Hey, there he is. Congratulations.
Life is good. Thank you.
Congratulations,
Yeah.
you dirty old man.
Congratulations.
See, now we can
Been a
call
week.
you a dirty old man because now you qualify.
Yeah, thank you. I joined the team. I joined the club.
Yeah.
In a week. Alrighty, so
Really.
life is good.
There you go.
Good. And let me catch up on the chat box. I have been ignoring it. Tony Dallas came in, and he's a member of our YouTube channel. Thank you, Tony, for your support. I appreciate it. He says, how important are the wingtips for performance, or is it all cosmetic? And he gave us a like.
Well, according to some, the wingtips make a lot of difference. According to me, they don't. But according to Randy, those Flight Streak wingtips add wing area. So
They
it's
do.
kind of up to you.
They do. I'm of the opinion that wingtips can make a difference. And
They definitely make a difference.
yeah, it depends on the type of the rake. The rake of the wingtip makes some difference of opinions. The Cardinal is raked forward. The Pathfinders are raked backwards, like the Flight Streak.
Mhm.
The ones in the middle that are just kind of rounded, I don't know if they make much difference. Now, there's some planes that are designed, they'll have flat plates on the ends of the wings to keep
Like
the
Twister.
airfoil from blowing off the ends and causing so much turbulence, keeping it attached in there a little longer. And it gives you the added effect of it's like having a little more square inches of wing area. And some people like that, and that's squared. So, I guess it really matters is what do you like?
Yeah.
Mhm.
Now, Dennis, what's your take on that, Dennis? About wingtips?
I'm fond of Flight Streak wingtips, and I can't put a number on it. Wait a minute, maybe I can. I can't put a number on it, but I've got got some old pictures. I'm gonna see if I can dig those up and show those off. So
So
stand
they
by for
add
that.
performance, the wingtips add performance? Is that where we're
I
kind of coming?
think when you put a wingtip on like a flight, like if you build a Cardinal, the Cardinal's famous, it's got the maximum length of the wings right at the front, and it sweeps back, sweeps well in at the trailing edge of the wing.
Mhm.
All right. If I think that basically marks where the air is leaving the wing at the trailing edge. All right. And if you were to take the Cardinal wingtips and reverse them so that they were, raked back like a flight streak, I think it has the same effect as lengthening the wingspan, because the air is now exiting out at all the way at the end of the wing, which is now, outboard about 3 inches from
Bigger,
where it is
yeah.
normally. And that is farmer aerodynamics. All right. I mean, I can't put a number on any of that kind of stuff, but
That's reasonable.
yeah, I think that I'm going to see if I can find some pictures here. Stan, I'm going to go away for a minute here.
All right, no problem. And Tony Dallas has another question. He says, what are the best ways to get warps out of a profile fuselage? Also, how do you keep it from warping in the future?
Mhm.
Oh boy.
Steam.
Mhm.
Yeah, steam. What's his
Yes.
name?
Easiest way I found not to get a profile fuselage warp to begin with is instead, and people are going to argue with this, I know, instead of starting with a 1/2 inch wide fuselage or 1/2 inch thick piece of wood, start with 2 pieces of 1/4
Right.
and look closely and see which way they're warping, because there's always going to be a little bit of warp in them. I mean, it may be a 64th and 36 inches, but turn it where the two are warped like this and put them together. Glue it together with epoxy, not white glue. I don't care
Right.
how much you weight it down. Putting together white glue, you're making a mistake.
I've done
You
that
take a little
before.
and you take a little bit of epoxy and you make it smear a long way, and you think there's nothing left, put it together, you've got plenty. Build it like that, and it won't warp near as bad. There's also the benefit on the back end of the airplane. You can always take some of that wood out and lighten the back end up. Then when you put it together, you've got a lighter construction airplane. Well, I could go on for half an hour on this, but anyway, that's basically it. 2 pieces of 1/4 with some just as minimal amount of epoxy on it. If you've got enough epoxy to where it'll squeeze, you've got too much glue back there. You take it down where there's just not much left at all, put it together and weight it down good. You've got plenty, and that will not warp. And I guarantee you it's lighter these days than the half we can buy. In fact, I can show you some right here. I bought the stuff to build a fuselage for John's airplane, and I've got 2 pieces of 1/4 and a piece of 1/8. And I'm gonna put that together with just like I say, except I'm gonna put a little bit of carbon veil on each side of that piece of 1/4. I mean a piece of 1/8, and put it together that way. But at the top and bottom, it'll be shaped like this rather than round. It'll be come to a point, and it'll have a lot of the insides of it taken out. That piece of 1/8 won't be 1/8 inside, except just little areas to hold it together. Most of it will be gone, in other words.
Just a point on that, on your discussion, I thought about it when I was laying out for the laser cutting on that plane.
Mhm.
And I laid out the laser cutting the same way, quarter, and 1/8. I was gonna go 3/16, 3/16 and a quarter.
Mhm.
But quarter, I had a lot of quarter that was already cutting, so quarter, and an 1/8 instead of the 5/8 block. It's probably gonna be cheaper in the long run, and it can be laser cut easily.
And that's what I've got, quarter, and 1/8 right here. 1/8 and 2 pieces of 1/4.
Where'd you get that from, by the way?
Hobby Lobby.
Hobby Lobby.
I went over and they had
Hobby
3
Lobby
pieces
again.
of They had 3 pieces of nice wood, and I said, I think I'll take them. So I did.
Yeah. And getting back to that profile warp, I read an article by Robert Zambelli. Is that right? His name,
Yeah.
Robert?
Yeah.
Anyways, he actually detailed this apparatus that would you made it slide it over my fuselage. You weighed it down on a bench, and then this apparatus actually had a hook on it, and I put some wrenches on it, so I got it to bend past the point of where it's straight. And of course, you dampen the wood. I think I sprayed some ammonia or Windex or something. I forgot what I did. Let it sit overnight. Came back and did it again and again until I got it straight. And I did it that way. And that
That'll
was
work.
based upon an article. And that was actually was my Fancherized twister, as a matter of fact. It had a warp. I had like a banana fuselage, and I was able to straighten it out.
You can straighten the wing, you can straighten the fuselage with steam, but you can also do it with a heat gun, just a heat gun, no steam. But if you do it with heat, if you do it with just a heat gun, keep it away from the paint as much as you can, because it will blister the paint. Everybody says, "Oh, this is working," and then they want to pare it down a little bit more.
Yeah.
No,
hear what
less is
Stuart
more.
had to say.
What do you got in your hand, Stuart? What are you holding up?
I just got a quick question on mufflers. Do you guys always use washer and lock nut on mufflers?
Yeah.
Yep.
And a gasket.
Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, I
Get
do
you
all
a piece
that.
of gasket material, and that'll act like a sponge too, and help it hold still. With the added benefit, you don't get as much fuel all over everything.
Yeah. I use the gasket. I use the orangey brown gasket.
Blue
Any of those
Loctite
good
is what I
ones.
use.
And Loctite, yeah.
Yeah.
Blue.
That's all I need for now.
Blue
Okay.
Loctite.
You'll be
Blue
all right.
All right. And
Not
then
red.
Dallas, I think this question is directed toward me because I was talking about putting the silk span below the Monaco. Yes, I did use dope. I doped the tissue on, and then I put dope on it, and then I put the Monaco after the dope had fully cured. Yeah. And I think and then Philip Bailey gave us a like. Thank you, Philip Bailey.
Howard, I got that mold poured without dropping any stuff on the floor.
Very good.
All right, all right, all right, Sparky, with your steady hands, with your sign painting hands, I'm not surprised.
Yeah, next time I make a mold, you can come for it.
Yeah. Well, sometimes it works, sometimes it don't, you know.
How long does that take to cook off for you, Sparky?
24 hours.
Ah,
It'll be, I'll be able to move it off my bench probably 6 o'clock in the morning. Then let it sit until whenever, you know, it'll get really hot.
do you put it in an oven towards the last part of it or anything?
No, that's post cure. No, what I'll do is I'll get this poured and then turn it over and make the top half with the gear in it. And then I will clamp them together after they're both cured and put it in the oven and post cure it for 150, 250, you know, keep ramping it up. You don't have to, but if you want to do, I want to do heated parts. So I want to cure the parts in the hot box. So I got to post cure the mold.
Yeah.
So it doesn't move. That one gear mold that I made, the big one, it works real good. I mean, the gear come out real nice. I wish I wouldn't have wasted $50 on this part here. I mean, this'll still make a gear. It just, I'm not gonna waste any money pouring a top half for this gear because it's not perfect. I asked Danny about it. He said sometimes that just happens, you know.
Yeah.
If you look right here, right there, you can see the porosities in that.
Yeah, I see it.
And I can take JB Weld or something and fill it in. I don't know. I just want perfect. So we'll do it again. It's even got porosities in the side here for some reason.
Did you shake it? I mean, not shake it, but vibrate it?
I did not vibrate that one. I did vibrate the other one. So I vibrated this one because that one worked. So
Yeah.
the big one worked. So now I got three different, let's see, I got one, two, I'll have 4 different landing gear molds to choose from. So we'll get some landing gear made up for Brodak and the Nats, and get some tanks, some product made for that. But this is becoming a job. It's not becoming a hobby.
That's the bane of most cottage industries. Started out for
Be
fun.
careful. That's what drove Wendy out of it.
Yep.
Well, gentlemen, it's straight up and 9 o'clock out here. We've been on for over 2 hours. So thank you so much for coming in. The show really did need you guys' help. Those that came in later, I really appreciate you coming in and help the show immensely. Thank you so much. So hope you have a chance to do some flying and work on your shop, work on your airplane, come back Friday and tell us all about it.